Going down the line here. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully you guys out there doing all right. Give me a rundown here of the field. Look at this. That's a sharp looking paint right there, don't you think? Here we go. We got a new guy here. We got some familiar faces there. We go another new. I like this monster scheme. I did. And Cracky, I got to give you credit here. I was a fan of what you had going on there. Now, I can't say it lasted very long, but hey, looking very nice there. Is that your pet tiger, Jason? I don't think Jason wants to be involved in this. He says no, absolutely not. Hey, we had a fun one last night. We were at the Red Bull Ring a couple weeks later, but hey, why not do 3 weeks of F1 at the Red Bull Ring? Obviously, the 2 in real life in the real F1 series, and then we follow up week 3 with it. What were your guys', without giving anything away, what were your guys', let's say, thoughts going into the race yesterday?
You know, I felt like Okayama, we had, you know, it was an off week there. And so I felt like Okayama was going to produce really good racing just because of how much practice everybody had. But then with this track, we had an off week again. And then you had Formula One there for 2 weeks in a row. You had the Formula One cars on iRacing there. Then you had Formula Renaults there. So I feel like it has just been nothing but Red Bull Ring nonstop.
It's been quite a bit. I really like this track. It seems like this track really brings out some good racing. I think it really brings out some. You're going to have to be somewhat technical. It's not a. It looks easier than it is in my mind. It's a very fast course, but you got to be careful getting out of that throttle. You got to be careful hitting in because you got elevation changes throughout this. And also, a big part of yesterday is we've been really keeping it steady with the temperature, getting everybody used to these cars, everybody together. Yesterday, we go out and just knock it out the park here. The air temp, it was like 78 degrees with a humidity of like 60. Like right under 60. So a big swing there, and I really enjoyed that. I think that kind of put a little more game into a little more strategy into the tires. What do you think on that, Chummy?
The biggest thing of it is we had to really strategize because I was planning on reds. Of course, we had 2 weeks to play around with it. But then all of a sudden I started messing around with the temperature change, and my reds didn't last as long as I wanted them to. So, yeah, I changed my mind yesterday when we ran this.
And, I mean, how many of you other guys, because I don't think... in my mind, I didn't think I was going to be on reds at all. I really thought this was going to be either a yellow or a yellow-white race, without giving too much away, obviously. I don't think I've stuck to my strategy one time in the season. Scott, what's your opinion on that?
Well, just like every other week, I went in and nothing happened to make me divert from my strategy. So I stayed on strategy the whole race, and my strategy was yellow.
Lucky dog.
It's a lot of
I don't think I've stayed on my strategy. I've not had that.
I've only had to divert once. That was Okayama when something happened and early in the race, and I had to go in the pits, and I had to change strategy. So
I changed strategy in the middle of this race.
Did you?
Yeah, I was planning on yellow, and I stretched my first set of yellows far enough that I put reds on at the end.
See, I thought about doing that, but something happens on lap 21, then I end up using the tires pretty bad. So I was going to go to about lap 30, and I thought about doing that because my teammate ends up going red, only one stop. I was like, he can go reds this long. He went longer on his reds than I did on my yellow.
That's pretty impressive. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Steven, you're with us here. You got a copy?
He's muted.
He muted.
Oh, he went dead mute there on us. So, all right, we'll get kicked off here. Let's see how this unfolds. Let's see what went down as we get the fun and excitement underway here. And it's always an exciting standing start. Thomas gets a great jump out there. But Jacob, you're going to pull around, excuse me for the mess up here. Let's get to where we can maybe see it a little bit.
It might work.
There we go. Yeah, you're going to get around there, do a good job to get around the newcomer, Troy. And, I mean, you guys have raced together, everything, but I'll say, if there's one person that's had a little interesting time here as far as, here, let's go back to the second turn. As far as these interesting standing starts go, I feel like you get the most excitement out of all these standing starts.
I leave nothing on the fucking table. I'm telling you, Okayama, I really messed up bad and looped it right there on the grid. And then, I don't know, I feel like the starts are exciting. Like, when you get it right, you get it really right. And when you get it wrong, you get it really wrong. And it's,
Yeah, I was so excited I jumped the start. I was
gonna bring that
I seen
up.
that.
So
Did you go? You went off in turn one as well, right?
I did that on purpose, just to get out of the way, because I knew I was going to have to pit. I didn't want to mess anybody's race up.
Well, I seen you. I didn't know it was you at the time, but I seen a car off in turn one, and that kind of made me check up a little more, thinking something was going on up there that I was going to have to even break more for.
You didn't straight jump it. You creeped it, right?
Well, what happened? So when the lights come on, they turn red before they actually let you go, and I've been shifting into first when they turn red, and then not revving it up, and I was gonna try a different strategy and rev it and then shift it when the lights turn green. Well, when I saw the lights turn red, I instinctively hit first gear, and it just creeped up on me.
You don't have a clutch?
I do, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
He said he was
Get
doing a
back
whole
to the race
other
here,
strategy, and that's like I heard him and Ayrton talking before the race, and then once that went red, Downing goes, "Oh man," and I knew right away exactly.
So I didn't know anybody jumped. I just seen a car off in turn one, which made me back my corner up even more than I would at the start of a race.
So let's go in.
I know other guys did the same thing too. We were kind of tiptoeing through there.
Here comes turn 2. We got a battle between Thomas and Steven coming up here, and a little overcharge there by the 77. Gets into the back of Thomas, but it's not all over yet, as we got a little interesting scenario here that unfolds. So let's go into Thomas's vehicle, see it from Thomas. So he's going around there, gets the bump. He's just anxious to go. Let's go, let's go. Boom! Right out in front of his own teammate. And then I don't get this, honestly. He pulls out in front of the rest of the field going very slowly. He about gets Daniel. He about gets me. I just went
around him there. I was like, whoa.
He's going to make it all the way back. He drives all the way back and then toes it at the entrance of pit lane. So not exactly sure what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know what damage Thomas had in the front. Now, obviously, or in the rear with that contact. Now he's got damage in the front. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, honestly, Thomas is faster than 90% of us out there.
But
I probably would have just let it sit in the corner until everybody went by and then got back on the track. But
so Anderson's in front now. Anderson has showed a lot of speed here in these past couple of weeks. So I'm sure Steven's pretty. He's got front end damage. He's been quick though as well, and you see both of those guys on red.
Steven's one of the new guys.
Didn't expect guys to come out here blazing off reds here early in the race. I mean, you see Chummy, myself, a lot of yellows throughout the field.
I was surprised to see as many reds on the starting. You don't know what everybody else is starting on until you grid up.
Right.
Because even if they tell you, they might be lying to you. So, so that's one of the first things I do when we grid is I try to see what everybody else is on.
So it looks like we got a battle now between the Red
Arrington.
Arrington, here we go. I was going to
and Austin
charge there. Somebody coming up behind me. I do believe they get that. Or no, they did not get the position yet. That's Anthony, newer guy into the league here as well. So I do like it. I did enjoy it. Like we had a 16 car field yesterday, and that you can tell a little more.
That's even more so than the tires and the strategies is what I was happy to see, but I knew it was going to take a lot more to get a podium.
Oh, absolutely.
So I didn't know a lot about Dylan and Anthony, but I knew Steve was quick. Steven.
Yeah, he's very fast.
Yeah, well, me and Arrington had raced with him and the officials a couple times, and he'd been practicing with us, so I knew he was quick.
And you can see, I think Anthony, he's being cautious right here because he's got reds, I'm on yellows, and he's a newer guy into the league. So I do think he's really trying to give some room here. Troy's coming up because he could have taken, I think a lot of guys would have taken that pretty quick into that first turn there, that quick right-hander. But he kind of gave me some room and slowed his approach off. So a very good start there. Oh, I've got a message from the FIA here. It looks like there will be a 2-point deduction here on the license for both Steven and Thomas for that first lap incident there. So
first penalties from the Chummy Motorsports. What did it take? 5 weeks?
It was a good time there, but the stewards just got in my ear there. They told me
the FIA has spoken.
A couple penalties. Now that's not like points as far as the championship goes. To everybody out there watching, what that is the super license. So they kind of the same rules apply here. Little less will get you in because we go off of a single season. Our seasons are a little less consuming than the F1 series, so try to adjust that. But I don't see it being a problem. I think guys have been very respectful as of now, but it's just some growing pains as we go along here, I think.
Yeah, and so I got around you already, Sean. You had a little incident in turn 2, didn't you?
No, it was the sand turn over here. I don't know.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That's where.
Oh, that's Power Horse.
Yeah, that's where I didn't take it off, but I got that tire so very close.
Yeah, and you lost what, like 4 spots because of that? 3 spots?
Oh yeah. That got me a good amount. So I lost to Anthony, Troy, and you. And then I'll tell you what, Daniel was quick to begin with. He was fairly quick to begin with. He came out here and did a. He was holding his own here for a good amount, but you could definitely tell when those tires started to really give. So,
well, he was on my relative all the way up till first pit stop, so he was still hanging tough for quite a while.
Yep. So, and here we got a great battle going on between, and this is a good rivalry. I think these two are very evenly matched. Really, you can almost say these three I'm sorry, I thought that was Brad back there. That's Dylan, and I think Dylan's going to be a tough one in this series eventually.
He just needs to get a little more experience with some of the other guys, and
it's a lot of, especially in open wheel. It's just getting used and comfortable to driving with guys on the track, I think, and that's the advantage that we had going into last night. Is this is our 7th race together, most of us.
Yeah. Indeed, but I mean, even with that said, a lot of us have raced 24-hour races together. So we know a lot about each other.
And I'm knocking on wood here.
Some of us.
I'm knocking on wood hard here. The biggest thing that I'm very impressed with these standing starts so far. I said it every week. I get a little cautious each standing start because we really haven't had like a nasty one yet. And, that's impressive, I think. I think that goes. We might not be the fastest group of guys out here in these vehicles, but man, we do try to keep it clean, and that's what makes it's so much fun.
That's what when I was talking about the field's getting bigger. We know Steve can run, Steve Price, and he ended up having some kind of internet issues last night.
Ankle.
Right at the beginning.
I think his foot was hurting him.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. Yeah, and then Jason Cracky had some issues, and Tony had some issues early on with internet.
Do you see how close Ayrton just got there?
Yeah.
Look at this. He may have kissed the back end there. He may have just barely touched off.
Oh, he did. He did kiss it. Watch this.
Woo!
Yeah, see?
Yeah. A little bump grab in the corner.
If that was turn 2, Austin would be going around.
A little bump trapped into the corner. That was interesting. That was a nice little one. Good control.
Lucky he didn't hurt his wing.
I will say Austin is really holding his own on those yellows compared to Ayrton being on those reds there.
You know what? And I went out with you guys, and I had practiced all week in the officials with yellows. So when we got in practice, I said, I'm going to try these reds and see. I just didn't feel as comfortable on the reds as I did on the yellows. And in my lap times were only a few tenths faster on the reds than the yellows.
To somewhat, I do agree, but I've almost felt like that throughout a good portion of the season so far. And again, not the
who was that?
Best driver.
That was Cracky.
Oh, okay.
Cracky.
That's where you're in. Cracky's internet had issues. He said he went off the track. Yeah.
So it's where was I going with that there?
Yellows and reds.
Oh, I've been almost, if not faster, I have been right in line with yellows and reds. Now, what I have noticed, if I go out on a stint of yellows and then I finish off with reds, I can pull some decent times. That's where I really am able to, like, you're already in the groove, you got a good feeling, and you have that momentum, I guess, built up, come lap, 28, 30, if you're able to make it that far and switch to the reds then. But I don't know if I could go from reds at the start and then switch to yellows if need be. I feel like that would be too big of a jump the opposite way. What do you guys think on that?
I think reds have they're quick confidence, but they have no feel. So like if you start on yellows, it takes yellows so much time to come in that when they do come in, you've gotten your steering inputs down just right, your throttle inputs are just right by the time the yellows come in. And then when you go out on reds, you can just abuse them because it doesn't matter. They'll take it.
Abuse is a fantastic word for that because, man, you can really just tear them up there. But also, you got to be careful, and I don't think I've been able to find that sweet spot yet where, like, Downing and I were talking throughout the race yesterday. When do we switch? When do we make the change? Because I don't think I have gotten – I feel like I could have almost gotten maybe another 5 laps out of when I make my tire change. So I think a lot of that reading the tires, really feeling the tires is growing, but I feel like I got to get a lot better there. I feel like I waste a lot of tire at the end.
Now, let me ask you this. If you have a problem and you spin on them yellows, semi-light in, do you guys notice them things drop off?
Immediately.
Well, yeah, but for the next 3 or 4 corners, they can be kind of spooky. But if you just roll the corners for about a lap, they'll come back.
Okay, see, I didn't know.
Late in your run.
Once I have an issue in them, then I was going to, like Downing said, he dropped back and punted and did something different. I was going to, had it in my mind that they felt so good, I was going to do something different.
If
and
you
then
flat spot, like, worn out tires, that's different. But, like, if you flat spot 10 lap yellows, just roll the corners for a little bit, they will come right back.
They were 21 lap yellows.
You did that last night.
Yeah.
During this race, as I remember.
Because I think they just get too hot. And I think if you get those temperatures back down, I think they grip just fine.
Yeah.
So here we go. Dylan on 10-lap old Reds does pull Austin. It looks like Austin's struggling around these last 2 turns to really keep that speed. And that was a hard thing to do throughout the night, was to keep that speed through those 2 turns, because if you miss a little bit of it, you could be in a world of hurt right there.
Well, as he come out of that corner, he went over the penalty line about one.
Yeah, but a lot of that is how you enter at the top of the hill. I've noticed, like, if you enter early, you're gonna run wide. If you get that turn in just right at the last second, it keeps you nice and tight in. It's
Steven's
really
did a great job
really
up in front. He does have that. I'm wondering if he's feeling that at all. It doesn't look. I mean, his times really didn't portray that. Steven, if you can hear us, were you feeling that at all last night? Did it affect the driving up in the front?
Yes, it did. It did a little bit. I could feel that the car was a little bit understeery in the front end. Wasn't getting as much grip. But I did notice that when I did jump into the pits, change the tires, and had that quick fix, after that I found pace again. But yeah, as you can see, I did end up with a little bit of nose damage there. But yeah.
He was able to keep it out there, keep it going, and right now he's got a 13-second lead. And a lot of that does go. I mean, these guys have these guys have been battling between the 3 of them for second, third, and fourth for quite some time. I didn't realize it was this hot between the second, third, and fourth place. As Ayrton was in my channel, Downing, would you have ever thought that Ayrton was sitting here fighting like this at the beginning of the race?
No, it didn't surprise me. I mean, he's definitely quick, and
No,
I know
he was very calm for being this close to these guys for as long as he was. If I was in a battle this going, you guys would have heard me. It was like, oh my God, guys, I ain't blinked in 30 laps. I'd have pulled a Perelman. You definitely, and that's what I really like these cars here. You can feel, like Austin right there, he felt that dirt under his tires. I'm sure, going into that.
Let me ask you guys this: the red and black stripes on the. Do you guys like braking while you're on them?
No.
I don't either, but I seen a lot of people doing it last night. I don't like the feel of the car when I do that. It's better to get it outside. Whoa!
Got a little
He
loose.
just got loose there.
Yeah,
that was Austin, wasn't it?
Is that all?
Yeah, I think on the ripple strips, it all depends how you brake on them. If you're going to do heavy braking on the ripple strips, you'll notice that you'll lock up the front tire, whichever is on the ripple strip, and
yeah,
that's a risk that I don't want to take. So yeah, I just take the racing line.
I did see a lot of people doing that, especially into 2. Going into 2, they're trying to get that a little more arc on the corner there. I understand why. I just, in practice, I don't like the feel of it.
What I saw this week in the Formula 3 5s, which the tires are a little skinnier, but people were putting the entire tire over the rumble strip onto the green and not getting off tracks.
Oh.
And that seemed to work pretty good, but
Oh.
the F1 tire's a little bit wider.
Yeah.
But they were putting the whole car over the rumble strip.
When you said the green, I thought the grass, and I'm thinking, boy, you put one of the tires in the grass in this car.
The green
good luck.
on the side of the rumble strip there, they were putting the entire wheel of the car on the
I
green.
feel terrible for Dylan right here. These guys battling. We got a solid battle going on for second place right here. Dylan really picking it up on Arrington. He has fought it back. They're going to go side by side here. Fantastic job by both of these guys, giving each other room, keeping it steady.
Yeah, this is a good battle.
Oh! Net code out of left field. I remember
Gotta love
that.
the net code.
Yeah, I remember watching that on the replay last night. Yeah, that was no driver's fault there. That was just iRacing deal.
Do you guys remember the old remote control car that you could throw at a wall and it would crumple up for a second and then pop out?
Yeah, I remember seeing it on TV. I never had
That's
one.
what happened with Ayrton's car right there. His front wing crushes up, the side pod crushes up. Poor Dylan on that one because the guy was fast. I got to give him credit there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Oh,
fast.
Dylan will be back.
Oh,
Dylan will
100,
have good runs. I guarantee you that.
It's just unfortunate here.
It
I think
is.
Later in the race, well, I don't want to give anything away, but I think he was pushing, trying to get back up, and we'll leave it at that. We'll see what happens here in a few.
Well, Sean, none of us are pros, but I feel like they really showed Perez and what's his name, how to take that turn too wide.
That was, I gotta give, that was solid. Like they really had, and I think they would have been able to hold it had netcode not given the.
I will say this: we haven't had a lot of netcode issues in this series with this car up until this week.
It was bad.
This is not the only one we have. And that is unfortunate, but we all know from racing, iRacing, it is part of it. It does happen.
At this point, I know, Brad is faster than me, but it's not the easiest track to pass, and I'm trying to keep him, because this is for position. I'm not going to throw a stupid block or anything like that, but I am giving it my all to keep this badass car in front of him. I didn't mean to cuss there. To keep this bad old car in front here, as it is. It's tough. But it's tough here, especially the line I'm running, for Brad to find a way around. Now, obviously, once he hits that DRS zone, you're going to see that back end pop out, and I'm not going to have any defense for him there, but, man, I was giving it everything. I know at this point of the race, I'm sweating. I was definitely a little...
Yeah, Brad will probably pop out right here.
There it is, right there.
There you go, yeah.
He got it, once he hit DRS...
Well, once he gets DRS, he's got that extra, what is it, 17, 18 horsepower.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really impressed by Brad there. That was a great move.
Yeah, he's in...
Well, and Brad's had to come back because he was in that lap 1 incident.
That's where
lap 1, turn 2.
It's
he had to go
nothing
into the
against you
pit.
guys, but I have raced with Brad, especially in open wheels, for over a year now. So, that's one I knew he wasn't going to get into the back of me there. That's just knowing the guy you're driving. And he knew that at that point, he could shoot it in there, and I'm not going to take down on that low side. But that comes with time of driving with each other, and I think
Right, and that's what we talked about with, was it Anthony?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
and and Dylan and some of them,
here in 3 weeks,
they'll get that after a few races. They'll start learning the people, and
right here in 3 weeks, he might not give me that room no more. He's gonna say, "This is mine. I'm going. See ya," and I don't mind it. I get it. Let's see. I think we got a battle here between Chummy. Chummy's battling here between. Is that Downing?
Yeah, Downing came back up, and Downing got by me a couple laps ago before this, and I'm wondering. I can see on my relative, he's already pitted lap 1, and he was serving a penalty. I didn't know what it was, penalty damage, and I'm wondering, can he make it the rest of the way, or does he have to stop again? And I don't know, to be honest. I did not check to see what color tires he was on, For all I know, he put whites on. He's done his one pit stop, and he's good now.
Right.
But, I had no idea.
Oh! And that right there, we'll go back real quick and say, I know Chummy don't want to see this again. But this is, I think Dylan was kind of pushing. He knew he was fast. He had that incident there. And they're just, that's
I started in these yellows.
Do you see the 1x4 under your car real quick?
Yeah, what's the wood? Looks like you got 2x4s.
That's a 2x8 and everything.
It's a 2x8? Okay.
Yeah, that's a 2x8.
I thought it might have been two 2x4s.
Here in the Chummy Motorsports paddock.
Yeah, that's how we keep the cost down.
We're not as rich as some of the other guys.
And Chummy, I had been behind you for a long time, and you kept that 3-4-7. We were running like the exact same lap times.
Yeah.
Because you were there, and then Sean was the same right behind me for a while.
Chummy was able to limp that bad boy to the pits. That's, I think, one of the most impressive feats of the night so far.
I did not want to tow it in because the tow in is a little bit longer. So I limped it all the way back in. I knew we had one fix coming, so I limped it all the way back in.
Oh, good thing is you weren't too far, at least when that happened. You didn't have far to take it around the track here because you see you've already made it down there. So Daniel does get around you. But again, in typical Chummy fashion, poor guy gets off the track. He's in an incident, and he's gonna come back with some heart. He's gonna keep into the end, and he's gonna give it everything he has got. So
speaking of that, go ahead, Chummy.
I was saying, as you'll see after a little while here on this race, I was almost running 09s in there when things were happening. We'll show that because I had a good race that was going on.
So I definitely think, obviously, when Thomas is able to go against Steven, I think we're going to get some really tight battles up near the front. That should definitely be interesting. Chummy switching to the yellows now, coming out for the remainder. He said, hey, I got half the race left. Let's just go out there, see what I can do. That's what Chummy's saying.
I was going to push it really hard, and I was going to go to reds because at that point I was kind of a little on the disappointed side. Nonetheless,
That was Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
Big shout out to Daniel, though. I mean, like he was in 9th place. The race is almost halfway over. Let's face it, he's struggled some this year, but he's still on the lead lap. He was running really well.
I would agree. I will agree with that 100% here. And again, this is not an easy track. It wasn't easy conditions. So, I give him a lot of credit there.
If you set this track completely level, I think it's pretty easy. I think this track what makes it hard is the elevation.
Yes.
100%.
And it's not a huge elevation change, but it's where the elevation is. That elevation going uphill in turn 2 is a killer.
Yeah, that really...
Because you cannot get back on the gas. You get over it at all, and you're in trouble.
And you saw right there the room... Go ahead,
Jim. Yes, it does. It has that Bathurst feel to it, yes. Well, Bathurst got a huge hill.
Yeah, that's different elevation. I'd say this is more like that Barcelona, maybe Interlagos kind of elevation change. I don't think it's as extreme as Coda or Spa or Bathurst, but it is one of those that old Carlos Sainz would be singing, the up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster.
I'm still
what you're talking about the
Yeah, I am too for right now. Right now, I'm thinking I'm going to lap 30 and change to reds.
Steven, what were you saying there?
About the elevation change. So from pit lane all the way up to turn 2, the elevation change is 60 meters, which is 196 feet. So that's there. It is. It is
bigger
pretty,
than Coda then. That's more than I honestly thought. It's just, I guess it's the grade of the incline. Then is it really steep? Because it didn't feel it, at least.
Yeah, it is turn 2. If you come in a little bit too hot and hit the apex a bit too quick, you'll spin the rear end around very quickly.
Because I know, like, Coda, when you're coming up in that turn, like, you're looking at the sky. And I don't think I ever felt yesterday that I was, like, looking up at, you know what I'm saying when I'm talking about that?
Totally. It's a gradual incline when you're going up from turn 1 to turn 2, so you don't really feel that like you said, but yeah, yeah.
And you could definitely feel, because going in, what was it was power horse? Is that what you called it, Jacob?
Yeah,
that's when you're going downhill, and that I feel like you could feel the downhills more than you could feel the uphills.
So me and Troy had a long conversation about Power Horse and what we thought the best way to do it was, because Troy really likes to bury it in fast in Power Horse, and you kind of lose it on the exit. And I was taking more of a slow in, fast out, and you can really get a lot of speed out of Power Horse. And it doesn't really seem to make a difference whether you take it fast in and slow out or slow in and fast out. It's kind of the same.
Yeah, and that's, again, it just kind of whatever suits your driving style there. And Scott, this is where, is this where Troy kind of had a little bit of his issue? Because I caught you so fast right here. And whoopsie, look at the exit. Look at the exit right there. Probably the best exit I've ever had on that line right there. And
5 foot, neck code. But don't.
Scott,
if you look at it from like the chase view, the back of my car jumps up too.
Scott just parked.
So now I'm facing the wrong direction. I got cars coming. I gotta try to get this thing spun around.
You can hear immediately. I was on the mic. Scott, I am so sorry if I hit you. I didn't think I did, because I got nothing there that said it. And
well, all I knew is I felt, because I had the ButtKicker on, so I felt the buh-buh.
The buh-buh. I felt the buh-buh. It's a very accurate feeling there, the buh-buh. If you're looking for that buh-buh feeling, hop on over to ButtKicker.com and get that Gamer 2. It's the best buh-buh feeling you'll feel, I promise. You go over the rumble strips in that ButtKicker, and I don't know if any of you other guys have it, but that is what I really like the ButtKicker in the F1s. I feel like it's almost like a whole nother level with that, especially like over the rumble strips. You really feel your tires. What do you think on that, Scott, Chummy? I know you guys got one.
Yeah, like I said with that red if you get in that when you're braking, I feel that. And like Steven said, you do lock the tire up too. I do that, but I can feel that ButtKicker, and it just gives me that uneasy feeling of, hey, all my rubber's not on the concrete right now because it's bouncing up and down. So
Jacob with a fantastic defense right there, holding steady. Are you gonna battle Brad for the rest of this race?
So I battle him until he pits, and then I stayed on my yellows for 3 more laps after he pitted. I was actually planning on pitting 2 laps after he pitted, but I couldn't find the pit entrance the first time I looked for it.
Yeah, you and me.
Sean could give you a good way to get into the pit entrance.
I will definitely 100% practice pit entry from now on.
That is for any rookies watching this that are getting into it. I don't care what you're racing. When you're out there practicing, practice a pits.
Yep.
And I came on the top of that hill, and I told Chummy, I was like, yeah, I need to find the pits. I said, where is the pits? And I went by them, and I said, oh, I think that was the pits.
Even if we're on oval, I'll find the braking spot by a billboard that I need to brake so I can get into the pits the way I need to.
I think Brad has an off, and then I came back around. I'm not really sure. I don't remember exactly, but I know me and him went back and forth. And like I say, I stayed out 2 more laps just trying to play the pit strategy game on him.
So it looks like...
Yeah, I do like that monster white car. Who was that?
Anthony,
I do like that. Anthony, that is a good-looking car.
So here we got a battle between Downing and Austin, I think, is up just ahead of Anthony there. And is that you, Scott, or is that Dan? Can you tell?
I think that's me. I'm a lap down. I had to pit now because the spin. My tires were.
It gotcha. So Prilliman got back around. Was that? Yeah, you got back around Brad there. Or no, that's
I mean,
Dylan there. So Brad has pit now. Brad went into the pits. He is in. So Jacob's going to try to push it here, and that is the benefit of going in or seeing your big competitor on the track go in. In my mind, is at that point okay, I've got to push now. This is the time where I've got to take these next 2 laps, and I've really got to make it a great 2 laps here.
And like you were saying about digging, I'm not even trying to race Downing. I'm just using the toe.
Yeah, right,
Honestly.
exactly. Yeah, you get a little DRS from them, get a little draft. Nope, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I was like, as long as I've got this toe, I'm staying out. Like,
I joked around with Downing last night. I said, this is what Lewis Hamilton feels like when he gets a penalty in the back of the stage. You just come flying through the field. He's up to 4th. I can't remember who it was. They were like, dude, you're up in 4th. He's like, yeah, I haven't bit yet. Didn't matter much because he did a great number.
Yeah, well, and see, but my relative or my overlays said he did pit on lap 1, so I'm not sure if he's going to use that and not pit again, or if he is in fact going to pit again.
I gotcha. Fair enough.
But there were several like that. Him, Thomas, they'd all pitted, on that lap 1 because they had issues. I didn't know if they were going back in or not.
Right. It would have been hard, I think, to really.
Whoa! I didn't know about that. Yeah.
Gave a little too much throttle there.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now because my spotter said, caution. I'm like, where's the car? Where's the car?
Yeah, he got again, trying to get back on the track again.
That is one of the hard. Like once you spin these things and you try to get it back on track, it can get a little hairy. It can get a little spooky. Yeah. Usually, if I spin it and I'm back on gear, I'll click that bad boy into 5th gear and take off out of 5th if I don't have anybody behind me. That way, I know I'm not going to spin.
And that's kind of why I went wide there. I didn't know if there was a car sitting on the inside and they were going to pull out. If they were trying to do like me and spin it back around the track. But my spotter was telling me there's a car sitting in the track in turn 2.
There indeed was. In fact,
there was. And that's why you see me go way to the outside there. So I could see there was no car on the outside.
So at this point, Steven is on red. Steven, did you think that you were going to be able to take the rest of the race on these reds here today, or is strategy maybe one more stop before the end?
Yeah, so my strategy was just a one-stopper. I was just looking at doing starting on the softs and changing back onto the softs, trying to look after, maintain the tires. Tried to get 20 or 21 laps out of it. I think I got 22 laps out of the first set. When I did pit, the front right inside was at 5%, so I don't think I could have pushed it for another lap. But yeah, that was my strategy from the start, was just to maintain the tires and stay on the softs. But they did go off at around the 15 lap mark. So yeah, I did struggle to get another 5 laps out of the tire.
And when those softs go, they seem to really go as well. It's a pretty gradual change, and then all of a sudden you drop like 2 seconds out of nowhere. Did you feel that as well?
That's exactly right. You'll probably see in my timings that I was doing 109s at the start, and by the end of it, I was down to about 111s. So I knew at that time that I had to come in and pit. But yeah, that was my strategy all along, and I did see Chris put in the fastest lap, so I went hunting, and yeah.
We'll see how that ends up here. As we got 13 laps left, and it's been fairly decent. We've had a couple incidents here. I mean, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. So here, Steve comes around. Do you prefer Steven?
Either. Steve, Steven, Stevie.
So
yeah,
I like
it's all
you
good.
said Stevie. I'm giving Stevie. It is. And when I see the leaders coming like that, if I don't have, like, I knew at this point I'm heading in the next lap. Jacob is. I'm not battling Jacob or Brad for position. Really, I've got Dylan in my mind. That's where I'm thinking. So I just say, yeah, you go on by, you don't lose time. I just pull completely off there almost and just let it go, because I really feel like even though, you know, you lose a little time there, as long as you know what's going on, you're aware of your surroundings on the track, I think it all works out better at the end.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's nothing worse than battling a back marker into a corner. I rather generally like to get the move done on the straight. That way, it doesn't hinder my race and doesn't hinder the person that I'm overtaking either. So, yeah, you can see I've got DRS here. I want to try and get the move done before the corner, and yeah, it just makes life a lot easier for both cars.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
And that's
Yeah,
sometimes like there's
that
a lot
was
of
me, and I allowed you to go on that one. I mean, you're leading the race. I'm not racing you. Right now, I'm just racing time.
That's where I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of guys on iRacing, they almost, I'm not going to say forget that, but it's so engraved. Maybe that's a racing thing. As we're on the track, we don't want somebody to get by us. But myself, I mean, I'll straight up say it. I'm a slower car out here. If I'm consistent, though, that's where I gain my speed. And for me to give a line in the middle of a corner, I may really cost myself 2 laps of speed trying to get back onto position there. So I would rather pull off and really slow up on a straightaway and gain that speed back, if you will, through the corners on my line, that comfortable line that I've been running. Like I said, you get off of it, you can really
You
coast.
might give up 2 or 3 tenths, but if you sit there and battle somebody that you really shouldn't be battling, I mean, you're going to give up seconds, tens of seconds.
And then,
You know,
like I said,
you're
you
in
get off
position
that
of
groove.
losing a spot.
yeah,
off that
that's
groove.
exactly what Scott said. So you know, you could give up a tenth or 2 on the straight line, whereas if you were trying to battle in an apex, you could lose half a second, 2 seconds, and you also run the risk of getting front. You know, you could get wing damage, you could spin out, or
Exactly, yeah.
it's just easier to get the move done on the straight.
Yep, 100% agree there. And like that's probably the racer and everybody. I mean, we don't like giving up positions in racing, obviously, but look at this. These two back at it, fighting again for second and third place. Ayrton Smith and Austin Anderson going at it. Ayrton back on, or he's on reds now. He kept red, so he went red, where Austin, he went yellow-red. So he did start on those yellows and now came back out on the reds. And again, that's one thing I really feel like Season 2 is going to be a lot more like Jacob. He was getting all excited. He's like, I'm going to know these tracks. I was like, dude, we're going to switch tracks up. Like, it's not going to be the same. But what we'll know is where we can push these tires to for a good, I think a lot better idea. Because like I said, I think I've almost wasted tires. Like I've not really gotten a life out of them. And it's on my own. But that's just something you have to learn and grow with through these cars, I think.
A lot of it too is throttle input, brake usage, and steering input. Like, I know me and Chummy's tire wear is completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just
Yeah.
knowing that, okay, even like I know I can't judge if Downing can get 7 laps on reds, I might be able to do 12. But it's finding that mark and being consistent with that mark, because even through practice, I haven't been able really to, and I don't know what it is, maybe pushing lines, pushing limits, trying to find something in practice, but it's 7 laps here, it's 10 laps here, it's 11 laps here, and in a race, it seems like it's pretty consistent. If I go out and I can hit 15 laps on the first set of reds, probably going to get 15 out of that second set.
Yeah, it's all about time management as well. And I also think it comes down to driving to the conditions of the track. So we saw that the temperatures of the tracks were very, very high. And if you overdrive the car just a little bit, you'll destroy those tires very quickly.
You were a little worried about that hot temperature, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. In the practice session, I was a little bit worried that tires. I was getting a lot of understeer because of the heat. I guess I was trying to push the car as hard as I could to see what times I could get, because Thomas was very, very quick, and I just wanted to see how much pace I could get out of the car. But at the same time trying not to destroy the tires as well. So
Right, it's finding that balance, and that is the really hard part here. So, Chummy, you're back in the pits, and this is where I'm going to overtake you. What happened?
I destroyed those tires. I remember I went in a little bit earlier than everybody else.
Did you come back out on reds?
I went in because I knew I was going to push really hard. I was trying to push, and I was sliding really bad. Because I was doing a hot track destroy tires.
Right. Well, that was
These two are going at it, aren't they?
They've been going at it all race. I mean,
Yeah.
these two-
Whoa!
Oh, man!
He was going to.
He
take
tried
him
the
there.
crossover. See, that's what I was talking about. That elevation at turn 2. I didn't know that happened before that. But
What a move, though.
he executed the crossover well. But when he got back in that throttle,
I got to give Anderson credit. That was a nice move.
that was a nice move, and I thought he was going to pull it off. But right, I mean, you're going uphill, starting to level off. That rear end gets light.
Well, what you're probably thinking too here, especially with the crossover, is dirty air does play a factor, and you can take somebody's air like that, and it completely changes the way the car handles in a corner.
yeah.
Jacob will find out about that here in a little bit.
Yeah, well, and I've found that out several times over the last 2 or 3 weeks as far as running officials and stuff. And I kind of always forget that dirty air is a thing until it's happening, and then I'm like, oh, crap. Yeah.
Right. Here we go. Daniel letting them on by. So go ahead. That's Steven there.
Yes, I
Chummy
think
out
I
here battling.
And go ahead.
Yeah.
No, that's Daniel.
No, you're right.
Go ahead, Steven.
I get
that's
to.
okay.
I got behind Steve once, and what's funny is I had an incident with him, and he was 20 feet away from me. He didn't feel it, and I got points off of it, saying I hit him.
So another good.
Yeah,
match
yes.
netcode.
We spoke about that. And, that was very
netcode.
strange. The whole netcode this race was really weird.
And it's sad because I know on the dirt side I've seen that certain tracks seem to have a lot more netcode than other racetracks do, and I don't know if it affects road that way. But it's really sad when you have a track that has such good racing like this track does, and then the service really lets you down as far as the connection.
That being true too, this track's only a month old on iRacing.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say.
So they'll probably be making some improvements on it. But yeah, the netcode was a lot worse than what we have been racing with other tracks. And that was unfortunate because there was some good racing, close racing that should have played out a little bit more with it.
Yeah, this is where I was trying to catch you, as you remember, Sean. I was running
quick.
110s, pretty much one after the other.
You were coming with the vengeance. That's no doubt.
I was coming. But if I'd have stayed on my last tires, I just was looking for my spot to go into a wall. That's what it felt like.
So I think Dylan took the back end of some netcode earlier, but it doesn't look like his nose is messed up from when he got into you. So
Yeah.
I think he got the good end of it on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was a lot of different incidences because I'm watching in here, and I went off the track where they give you a penalty once, and it didn't give me the penalty. And then another time, I didn't even get close to the penalty spot, and I got the penalty. So there's a lot of rules on this track, and I think a lot of the netcode was see right there. If you hit the red, usually you'll get a little penalty going on, and sometimes it wasn't doing that.
So
Yeah,
here
I think
it
it's
is.
4 seconds. or 3
Steven
seconds.
says
Yeah.
Downing just hit the fastest lap of the race. Steven says, I got to get this. I'm going in. He had
I see him. I'm like, ooh, I get my lap back.
So at what point, what was the gap that you knew, Steven, that you were able to safely come back out and be okay with Austin behind you?
Yeah, well, I saw that I had a 34 second gap behind me. I saw that Chris had the fastest lap by a tenth. And I just thought, I've got a free pit stop here. So I went back in, changed onto the softs with, 4 laps to go.
Yep.
And I was just hunting for that fastest lap.
Just able to get him up to temperature in time. It was a great run, because man, I think I don't know if Downing honestly knew he had the fastest lap at the time. Downing, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you know you had the fastest lap going into the last lap here?
No, I didn't. I didn't know what anybody else had run. I knew that was the fastest lap that I'd run through the whole session, like practice, qualifying, and everything, because low fuel load. And I was surprised because I had like 10, 11 laps on those reds when I ran that lap, so it kind of surprised me. I figured there would have been a faster one on the board, but when I saw Steven pit, I kind of had a feeling that I might have got it.
He snatched it on up, as you do get a bonus point for taking that fast lap, so a good call by Steven to head in there. Like you said, you had that freebie. When you come out that next lap, you're 9 seconds ahead, and at that point, I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, I got new reds, I'm not worried, I got out ahead of them, I'm solid.
Yeah. I did know that when I did come out onto the fresh set of softs, that I'd have about a 5 second gap is what I calculated, and I think I did come into the traffic on the second lap, which I couldn't get the fastest lap, so I knew that I had to push a little bit harder, create a bit of space, and just really go for it.
Absolutely, there a nice strategy call to get it done and get it out there. As we come around here, it'll be 2 to go. At this point, he is pushing, like I said, and you can see, I mean, that gap really heading forward as you came out. I think 8.5, and you're almost 2 seconds now to the good, as 10.5 seconds is the gap between you and second place. A good gap between, and like I was asking Downing, I was like, man, is there any chance you get a podium? He said, nope, not tonight. But man, I think if you don't jump the start yesterday, you might be up there with Steven going for a win. That could be in a really tight race at the front there. Yeah,
that's the way when the race ended, where the timing ended up, the gap between everybody. The time that I lost at the beginning, I kind of figured I would have been, I might not have been battling with Steven had he not pitted with 2 to go, but definitely would have had a shot at second, I think.
Definitely. A wish situation as you go in, as there's every time we exit one of these races, I think to myself, this is what I should have done. A lot of shoulda, woulda, coulda, but that's the learning process, I think, and that's what I really enjoy these. And like Scott was saying, I think you have so much concentration in this. I've loved ovals. I'm a huge oval fan. I love Indy cars on ovals, so it's not like the concentration isn't there. But it's just something about these cars on the road courses. It's a blast. This is a load of fun.
And when I get out of the car, I'm tired, sweating.
Yeah.
Like it's the concentration is so intense, and you just feel exhausted.
I do have to really agree with that. Doing 40 laps, and the thing with these cars is the slightest little mistake and the car will punish you. That's like you see it turn to a little bit early on the throttle, and it'll just the rear end will just come around.
I think you just kind of saved it there. So
I did. This is the lap that I really pushed hard
Exactly.
for the fastest lap. I nearly go into the gravel trap there, using every inch of the track. I'm knowing that this is the last lap, and I do take it from Chris by about a tenth. So it was very close.
And like Chummy said, man, you get your tires on that red, and they're gonna get you on that. You did.
That's
you used
right.
every inch of it. Congrats to Steven. I'm gonna need you to say your last name for me one time here.
In Croatian, it's Filipovic, and in English, it's Filipovic. So,
Filipovic.
however you want to pronounce it, that's fine.
Did I get that right? Filipovic?
That's correct, yes.
Steven Filipovic with the win. Congrats, sir, on not only the win, but it was the your first race here with the series. It's got to be a fun one. I wish we could have given you a little more competition, but hey, we're learning. We're getting there, so congrats to you. Hopefully we can learn something from you. Anybody you want to thank or anything like that for getting it done here?
Yeah, I do want to thank East Coast Racing here for allowing me to join the series. You guys are great. It's great practice, putting in some great practice sessions. I do want to apologise to Thomas for that turn 2 incident. I know it would have been an absolute great battle between us two, and I was very devastated and couldn't say sorry enough to Thomas. But I'm looking forward to battling with him next race. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic run out there for you. And again, congrats to everybody. Another fantastic week, guys. Chummy Motorsports getting it done as always. Thank you, sir. A huge thank you goes out to Mr. Chummy here. Chummy, why don't you give him your famous sign-off here?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out and seeing us all. Please come out and give us a nice try next time. If you have any suggestions, give Sean a text and this post. We'll greatly appreciate it.
That's all. Thank you guys so